This is Listen After Watching,
a podcast where we recap and discuss the most mind-bending, twisty, and thought-provoking TV shows and movies out there. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Alicia. Let's dive in. Welcome to your favorite non-incestuous sibling podcast, talking about the White Lotus. What's up?
Ta-da!
Just
Hello,
replace
everyone.
our intro theme song with that.
That was incredible. That was not planned. No one's going to believe it. No one's going to believe that.
I was off the dome. I have rights to it, sorry, because I
Wow.
just sang it here. This is my copywritten, so don't copy me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well,
It's already on TikTok. I already used it as a TikTok sound.
things are moving quickly.
Whoa. Oh, fame. So hard to deal with.
It is. You know what? But we are finally at the end of season 3 of The White Lotus. Not to sound too excited about it, but we've reached the end of the season and it's felt long.
Dear Lord, thank y'all for sticking with us through this. It has been a little bit of a slog, gotta say. And I kind of
Yeah.
feel like that for every White Lotus season. It's not... I'm never like begging for the next episode, but this one in particular has just felt like a little bit more of a chore to do. So I'm really glad we're podcasting about it. And
It's a good binging show because you don't have to wait for the plot to continue.
yeah, I think I'm realizing, yeah, you can have your phone out in this show, and maybe you should.
But
Anyway,
listen,
We're kind of giving away how we felt about this episode.
there's lots of good parts of this episode, I will say.
I agree.
But yeah, let's just, we're already talking about it. I'll go ahead and give our perpetual spoiler alert for this episode. If you haven't watched the season finale of The White Lotus season 3 called Amor, Fati, what are you doing? Go watch it. Hopefully you liked it, and then come back and listen to what we think.
Or if you want to save yourself maybe a half an hour, just listen to this.
Yeah. Well, yes, you don't have to watch it because honestly, you might be more satisfied with hearing about it from your two favorite non-incestuous
sibling podcasters. We didn't plan that.
No, can you guys believe we're so in sync today?
Oh my God. Well, we're being harsh. We're being harsh. There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of great moments. I think we'll get to one of the best moments pretty quickly here. But there were some satisfying moments to this finale that I want to make sure we talk about. And at the end of this, we're going to talk about things we wish would have happened in the finale.
Yeah. If we were Mike White and we were writing it, what would we have written?
Yeah. Which I heard that they
saying?
filmed many endings and that a lot was left on the cutting room floor throughout this entire season. So I'm really curious as to like what could have happened if they'd done different edits.
Yeah,
But-
true.
Yeah.
This is the edit
We'll
we
get
got.
into that. This is the edit we got, and we'll get into what we wish we would have gotten at the end. But
Truth.
Alicia is going to kick it off. We want to talk about the name of this episode that kind of gives us a little insight.
Yeah. So it's interesting we get the name of the episode, Amor Fati. We also hear about it from Chelsea in this episode, so it's not like we don't learn about it. But when I Googled, it is a Latin phrase that means love of fate. It's a philosophy that encourages people to accept and embrace all aspects of life, including both the good and the bad. And the idea is that each experience can help us grow. Isn't that just a great lesson for all White Lotus seasons?
Yeah, I think Mike White was like, listen, there's going to be good and bad in this finale, and you better embrace it.
Also
There
made
was
me
both.
think back to season 2 in Italy. I was like, is this an Italian phrase? I mean, it is Latin, so it's like the
Yeah.
root is there, but interesting choice to have it be not like a, Thai saying or something like that. I'm sure there's something similar, a similar sentiment in Thai, but to be Latin.
True. Yeah, there's been a lot of Buddhist imagery and symbolism throughout this season, obviously. So, yeah, true. Interesting. Interesting take.
Interesting take. Well, let's just get to our suspects, starting with the girls' trip. Well, I'll say not a lot happened with the girls' trip this episode, but it did have one of my favorite scenes. So at dinner on their last day in Thailand, Kate and Jacqueline take turns expressing their gratitude for their friendships. And then when it comes around to Lori reveals she's felt sad all week, but in the end, she is just happy to be at the table with her old friends. And this was like evoked the most emotion from me out of probably the entire season.
Yeah, I agree. Same. This was such a powerful scene from Carrie Coon.
We love Carrie Coon.
We love some Carrie Coon. Yeah, man, I feel like this was maybe the most satisfying bow on any of the storylines for me.
I think so too.
The way the friends were able to kind of come full circle in a way, it was like nothing changed and everything changed at the same time. And I feel like, and maybe Lori's character is the one that really had the most, like, the biggest awakening out of all of them, it seems.
For sure.
But it was just so powerful because it was like so sad and at the same time so heartwarming. Like, I think we as humans can just relate to this feeling in life where, like, yeah, you want to just appreciate, like, love the ones you're with, right? Like, what you've been given, the humans that are in your life, like, can you embrace them and just appreciate what you have?
Ugh. So many themes here because Chelsea says something similar to Rick later, which we'll get to. It's a small part, but just like, the people in front of you, especially longtime friends. I think this really struck me because I totally get where she is coming from with, like, you have your family and friends who are the people you've known the longest in your life. And it is true that you can just be, like, talking with them about what they ate for dinner, their plans tomorrow, like the silly stuff that doesn't really matter, but it does feel meaningful because you care about those little things that you wouldn't necessarily care about if someone else, a stranger, was sharing them with you. I don't know. It felt very much like, without all of the weird, jealousy and and criticisms of each other that we've seen throughout the season, I could totally relate to, like, spending time with you or some of my oldest friends and feeling that sense of, like, this is closeness, this has meaning, even though we're not really doing anything particularly meaningful.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines in this monologue is when she says, "Time is what gives my life meaning," which I thought was really profound. I don't know. Yeah. It's like, no, yeah, Jacqueline's acting career doesn't really give her life meaning. It hasn't, like, fulfilled her. Like, Kate's, whatever she's got to, like, yeah, like, in the end, all of it matters. Like, all of these moments are what make up a life.
Yeah. Yes. And I think it was also relatable when she said that she spent a lot of her life justifying her choices. It's like, you think about, the choice to get married, the choice to have kids, and whether or not you're happy in those things. I think some people just get stuck in these places where they're like, well, I have to accept my life because these are the choices I made, and I have to justify, my happiness or my gratitude because this is just the way that my life is. But I think she expresses it in such a beautiful way to where like you don't have to justify it in spite of those things. You should be happy because you have those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Very
want to
cool.
watch it back again. I feel like that was the standout moment definitely of the finale, maybe of the entire season.
I think so. For me, I think so. I cried.
So I was definitely getting emotional, and I felt like that was a very like poignant, meaningful, satisfying, I guess I should say, ending to the girls' trip storyline.
Agreed.
Let's move on to some maybe less satisfying endings. Let's talk about the staff. So, we remember last episode, Guy Talk spied with his little eye Valentine and his friends at the Muay Thai fight and recognized that they were part of the robbery. So this episode, Valentine approaches Guy Talk and begs him not to report him and his friends for the robbery and tells him, we'll be deported. You know, they don't have any way to make money. This is like all they have. And then later, Guy Talk confides in Mook that he thinks he should quit because he's not meant to be a bodyguard. And he even talks to his manager, Pileg, and says, like, I think I want to quit. And he's like, just think about it, and we'll talk later.
Right.
But man, Guy Talk is so frustrating to the very end, I feel like.
I know, but when I saw this scene where he was thinking about quitting, I was like, yes, it's going to happen. He's going to quit.
I know.
If you listen to the last episode, I was like, this is what I hope happens for Guy Talk's storyline. I hope he quits because his values obviously don't align with the job or what the job requires of him.
Yeah.
And okay, when he talks to Mook about this, she is like, basically in so many words, is like, well, I don't want to go on a date with you if you're not going to step up.
Mook is so disappointing. She just wants a guy who has like some status, or like it might even just be like that she's not attracted to like a man who would be this like quote unquote weak. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I don't know, toxic behavior from Mook coming out of this interaction. I am not liking her. She's not my girl. She's not my princess of Thailand. She is simply like, just honestly gold digger.
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
But I feel like Lisa deserved better for a storyline. Like, Mook's character really was just there to like Guy Talk to play off of it. Like, she really didn't serve a purpose in any way.
I know.
And even her job, I'm still unsure what her job was at the resort.
Yeah, we only saw her interact with guests like maybe once or twice.
She danced one night, and then she's just around sometimes.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for all Thai women everywhere for the representation because it was not good. It was not good.
Not good. And then I guess we'll talk about this now. We see that Guy Talk in the end does not report the Russians, which
that's right.
I don't even know what I wanted to happen there. Like, honestly, I just wanted Guy Talk to like, I don't know, pick a side, do something.
Yeah. He's just so indecisive. It's like, and we see it all over his face. It's like, just be decisive. Just like do something. I don't care what it is. Just like make a decision to do something and do it.
Right. Jays. Well, Guy Talk, we'll get back to you in a little bit. But let's talk about Zion and Belinda. So Zion, of course, convinces his mom to negotiate with Greg with this blackmail money. So they visit him at his house, and this whole scene with Zion and Greg honestly was so like corny to me, and Zion was really annoying to me. Sorry.
Yes.
But he thinks he's hot shit because he's in business or studying business or something. But anyway, he ends up working together, they negotiate a payout of $5 million, which is insane. And Belinda, I think, like, doesn't even believe it, but she wakes up in the middle of the night and checks her account, and the money is there, which
Wild.
I was like manifesting. I want that. But then, of course, the next day she's like, we got to get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Get out of Thailand. Oh, you put Zion is so cringe.
I did, yeah, in our notes. He is so cringe. I saw someone posted a TikTok, and it was like, Zion's acting reminds me of Riverdale. And it was like so accurate.
my
I don't know if
God.
you've ever watched a show like Riverdale or Glee. It's like so corny
Yes.
in your face. And,
I
like,
agree. He would have been his face looks like Riverdale.
he might have been in Riverdale. I don't know. But
Yeah, let's check his IMDb. He was kind of hard to watch for me, especially in that scene. But can we talk about Belinda turning down Porn Chai?
ugh, poor Porn Chai. I felt so bad. I wanted her to just like whisk him away with her and Zion.
I know. I was hoping she would even be like, I have to go back and like get some things straight and then we'll talk or something. Like,
Something.
in the end, Belinda does to Porn Chai exactly what Tanya did to her.
It is so similar.
Which is like, it was so sad, but again, I felt like this was another one of those like satisfying kind of endings because it mirrored what had been done to her. So
yeah, I felt like this was a good ending for Belinda and Zion. And honestly, like her situation was different because she didn't promise him that she was going to do anything with him. She basically just like said, "No, I'm not going to start a business with you."
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And she just came into that money. Like, I agree, she should enjoy it. Like, don't get tied up with some romantic, relationship at this point.
No,
like, go
we're
live your life.
decentering men. We're
Decentering
that.
men. And throw Zion off the boat. We are not keeping him around.
He looks like he could swim. He's got broad shoulders. Yeah, I think this was a pretty satisfying ending. I don't know how realistic it is that this guy would pay her $5 million instead of just having her killed, but I guess because the son was involved too, that would be kind of more suspicious.
Yeah.
And yeah, after the Tanya thing, maybe people would point to him. But does he really think Zion's going to keep his mouth shut? He's going to be talking about that at the next party he goes to, how he negotiated that.
I know, right? He's going back to business school and he's teaching a class on it.
Yeah, how to negotiate. Well, yeah, I feel like the Belinda storyline, honestly, I hope we don't see Belinda again. I think they need to let her set sail and be rich.
I think so too. Well, let's move on to a complicated situation and a frustrating one because I'm frankly sick of them, the rat lifts. They are rats. Okay, so we pick up with Piper and Lachlan. So after they spend the night at the meditation center, Lachlan is telling Piper, like, I guess we need to tell our parents that I'm staying, right? And Piper's like, I don't want to be responsible for fucking up your life too. And then later at breakfast, Piper admits to her parents that she can't tolerate living without material comforts. And Victoria is on cloud nine. She's giving Tim the thumbs up. She's so happy that her daughter was miserable. This was what did you think of Piper kind of being exactly who her mom thought she was, you know?
I thought it was a little bit unbelievable. I think Piper was so like strong-willed and strong-headed about what she wanted, enough so that she convinced her family to take a vacation to Thailand. Like,
you know,
she had done her research. She had obviously been like obsessed with this idea for so long, and to spend one night, not even anything bad happened, like at the meditation center. It was just like, yeah, you're eating like communal food and sleeping in a temple. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, it was kind of unbelievable to me. What did you think?
I agree. It was really disappointing. I think we're all rooting for Piper to like escape the the
Yeah.
generational privilege of her family. Um, yeah, I don't know. This was like not satisfying, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. Some people have pointed out like maybe it was truly like the creature comforts that she was missing, but maybe it was also that Lachlan wanted to do it too,
Yeah.
and she was like, "This is my thing. Like, why do you want to do my thing?"
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Lachlan wanting to do it kind of ruined it for her, and she was like, "Okay, I'm off this idea." You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I definitely, you can attest to this. Growing up, when I was like a teenager and stuff, I would get obsessed with like an idea or something. And I'd be like so into it, but like I could be turned off of it so easily.
As soon as
So
I liked it too.
yeah, fuck that. Uh,
Oh
yeah, that
man.
was.
Well,
It was hilarious though to see Victoria celebrating.
I was just gonna say every sentence out of Piper's mouth, it was like Victoria was like,
Yeah, she was like
pulling the thread,
growing,
like,
like
come on, like, yeah.
so good.
Victoria says this quote that I thought was so funny for like rich people justifying their crazy amounts of money. She says, the least we can do is enjoy it. If we don't, it's offensive. And she says, it's an offense to all the billions of people who can only dream that one day they could live like we do. And Piper is like nodding at her.
Yeah, the 180 from Piper is crazy. This
I
is,
know.
I mean, this is a little bit like there are starving children in China or something.
Right.
But I'm kind of split on this like this quote from her because it's kind of like completely insane and also kind of like yeah.
Right. I know. Well, it's like I would say yeah, go on. Like you should enjoy it to someone like Belinda, but like to this rich white family who's probably been rich for, generations and generations off the backs of marginalized people or
Yeah,
exploited people, I think it reads differently, but I
totally.
definitely feel that for Belinda or like, anybody who's more deserving.
Yeah, totally, totally.
But yeah, she has a point. She should say that to Belinda. Well, let's switch gears to Lachlan and Saxon. Just real quick, we have
my.
to talk about, they have a conversation about their encounter. And I wanted to talk about it because it's like a small scene, but it created a lot of social media conversation. Yeah, I guess what happens is like Saxon is kind of like blowing Lachlan off, like trying to, not like that, but he's
We have to
he's like,
clarify.
I'm gonna go down to the beach and read, and he's like, do you want me to come with you? And he's like, no. And then Lachlan starts the conversation off by saying, are you mad at me or something? And that's when they get into it. Saxon says, I know you worship me, but don't worship me. And Lachlan says, I saw you lying there and I thought you looked a little left out, and I'm a pleaser.
This is insane.
This
Like,
is Disturbia.
I think everyone would have been better off if you just didn't talk about it, actually, and didn't acknowledge that it ever happened.
I'm
The
shocked
fact that
that
they're-
Lachlan is so comfortable to just talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think as far as he knew, Saxon, like, didn't remember anything. So, yeah, this was kind of weird.
It
Kind
was
of
very weird. Also, as
But
far
again-
as like the resolution of this storyline throughout this season, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think people have pointed out on Reddit and stuff like, oh, the incest didn't have a point. I mean, I think it's all just character development in White Lotus
Yeah.
anyway. But I think this was kind of pointing out like this whole season, Lachlan's been like struggling to understand his identity and who he is. And he said before, like, I'm in a family full of narcissists and like I don't know how to act. So yeah,
Right.
again, he's just this lost little puppy and a pleaser.
And a pleaser. Yes. At any cost. Yeah, and I think too, like for Saxon, this was character development for him. Like he got connected with Chelsea. He really seems to be interested in like the books that she gave him. And he saw in Chelsea and Rick like a connection that I think he is feeling sadness for that he doesn't have himself. So I think there's like, as much as we hate him, I think he is growing and learning a little bit through all of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chelsea had a big impact on him and his lack of identity beyond like
Totally.
being a douchebag. So yeah, good for him. Keep reading, buddy. Keep reading.
Keep reading. Keep reading. Okay. Well,
Let's get to the good
as we
stuff.
know, throughout the season, Timothy has been just fantasizing about killing his family. So he finally decides, I'm going to do something about that. So Timothy harvests the poison fruit seeds like we thought. And he makes a plan to kill his family except Lachlan with poisoned pina coladas. Delicious. But he stops them from drinking at the last minute, which is so funny. Also generated a lot of social media content on the coconut milk is off. The coconut milk is off.
That was honestly hilarious.
It was
Him
so
and
good.
still being pilled out and be like, coconut milk is off. Coconut milk is off. Slapping the drinks down.
So good.
But yeah, Chekhov's poisonous fruit and blender came into play as we predicted. I honestly was just wishing they would all die at this point and have like a massive Jonestown
Right.
moment. Of course, it was he had a change of heart in the last minute. Boo.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think it would have been really dark, like we've been saying, if something like that happened. And then poor Lachlan. I mean, that would just be awful for him. He'd probably end up drinking what's left
Yeah.
in the pitcher anyway. But another funny line that I noticed upon watching a second time is after Tim slaps the glass out of Saxon's hand and he says the coconut milk is off, Victoria says, Tim, take a nap. Take a nap. That is so funny to me.
I also
my
love when she
God.
was like, Tim, have you ever heard of wine?
I know.
Like,
She's
what's the party
I'm trying
over?
to get twisted anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to sleep now. Tim's
Right. He's
oh,
like,
yeah.
party's off. Coconut milk is off. Party's off.
It's all. And then another thing I wanted to mention this episode that we finally saw is that Timothy ran out of lorazepam. So the pill
Honestly,
bottle empty.
that was the biggest resolution we got of this season for this family is they finally ran out of lorazepam.
Yeah, a week's worth of abusing lorazepam in that bottle. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah. Least believable part of this show.
Well, to tie a bow on the Ratliff storyline, the next morning after the coconut milk is off, Lachlan wakes and he makes a protein shake, and he uses the dirty, stinky blender with the leftover pina colada in it, like a true teenage boy who has house cleaners and doesn't clean anything himself.
It's true.
And he is sitting out by the pool and he's like vomiting and he just lies there dying. And we thought maybe that he did. I thought he did.
Yeah.
But then later, Timothy wakes up and finds him, and Lachlan wakes up in Timothy's arms. So
Oh.
He
I
didn't
thought
die.
this was the worst storyline decision of this show,
Shot
of this
fired.
Of this episode.
Yeah, it was strange.
This family just gets off scot-free after watching Timothy fucking struggle and Razapam out and almost kill himself and kill his wife and kill everyone and ask them all questions to figure out who he needs to kill. Like, to have all of them just come out like, oh, this is fine. I was so frustrated. What did you think?
I was frustrated too. Like, did they learn anything? We don't know. I mean, we don't even get to see Timothy and Lachlan have a conversation about what they just experienced. If I were Lachlan, I'd be like, what the fuck did you do to those pina coladas? You know, is the coconut milk that off? Like, what happened here?
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows if Lachlan was just like, oh, I got food poisoning or something. And Timothy, knowing Timothy from what we've seen the last entire season, he wouldn't cop to it, you know?
No.
So
that would be worse than like the, financial trouble that they're in. Admitting that you almost killed your entire family except one of you.
Wouldn't he like get him to a hospital immediately though?
I know. People online pointed that out too. And I was like, true. They probably wouldn't leave like the hotel like that, that same day.
Right. Yeah. There were so many issues people had with this finale episode. One of the biggest ones though are people not believing that he would make a shake in a dirty blender. Everyone's so upset about that.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't, but I'm also not a teenage boy.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the actor's name. He gives an interview and says, my character thought that Saxon had just made a shake and it was just like leftover shake or something.
Wouldn't you
I'm
smell
like, you're not that dumb. You weren't drinking. You were drinking Coca-Cola. And you saw what was made last night in the I don't know. But that's the least of our issues, I'll take that one.
Definitely.
Wish you would have died, but
I guess we'll take that instead. We did get to see Pam, who reminds us that the fruit is poisonous, and she also stops the family from getting their devices back earlier. So when we see the Ratliffs leaving, that's when they finally get their phones. But I was glad to see Pam again. Love her. Love her.
I love Pam. I would have loved to see her be more pivotal in this last episode. I thought she was a hilarious character.
I know. She was so funny. Well, maybe we'll go back to Thailand at some point. Who knows?
Made in Thailand.
Oh, they did play that song a little bit. Did you notice?
Yeah, they did.
Overlaid with something else.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I was jamming.
Yeah, that was the best part of this season.
Man, we really sound like we hated it. The music was the best.
I know. We're being negative. But I will say I was most dissatisfied with the Ratliffs storyline and how it ended out of all of the suspects.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Well, let's get on to our last group of suspects, the Outlaws. So Chelsea and Rick reunite on the beach when Rick gets back from Bangkok. And this was such a beautiful moment. Like, as the viewer, we're like, they did it. They're back together. And at dinner that night, both Rick and Chelsea are relishing in his newfound sense of peace. He's feeling really good. It seems like he kind of got a little bit of resolution from the visit with Jim, even though it didn't go the way we thought it would.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's even like, I thought we would be together forever. And Rick's like, well, that's the plan. And it was so sweet. But then at that point, we all knew, like, you're both dying.
It was all too perfect for it to end that way. Also, this happened early in the episode. But I thought that was so sweet. Like, this poor girl is so deprived of any type of affirmation of their relationship
I
that
know.
even that small comment, she was like so taken aback and emotional about it. But it was also at the same time really, really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I love her. Some foreshadowing when they're having dinner, of course. If that wasn't enough, is that she says, at this point, we're linked. If a bad thing happens to you, it happens to me.
Yeah.
Well,
Mike White was really spoon feeding us the fact that these two were going to die like the entire season, but really this episode.
totally. Yeah. So if only it could have ended there. I could have turned the TV off at that point.
Can we talk about, and this was, I think, people's other big gripe. Why would Rick go back to the same resort owned by the man he just showed up
That's what I'm
with a
screaming.
gun and threatened to kill and knocked him over and has these scary bodyguards? Why would he go back there and spend the night?
Dude, that is what I am screaming. I said this last episode. He's going to go back, but why would he? Like, any rational person would maybe go get Chelsea, but then leave right after, you know?
Yeah, I think Michael White missed out on a good potential storyline here, which would be he calls Chelsea and says, "We need to get the fuck out of here." And they peace out and we don't see them again. Like,
Yeah.
other people needed to die here. This was like so spoon-fed to us that it would have been better if it didn't happen in the end. I feel like if she would have survived, because we all knew she was going to die. I don't know. It was just frustrating. Anyway, we haven't even gotten to that part yet.
We haven't even gotten there. Take us there.
Well, let's get there. So the next day, the Hollingers return to White Lotus. Great. Awesome. So at breakfast, Jim and Rick are right there next to each other, and Jim confronts Rick, insulting his mother. And then Rick's spiraling. He's lost all sense of peace he ever had for these past 10 hours. So Rick is like looking for Amrita, the only person that has seemingly helped him. And he begs her for another session, but she's about to go into a session with Zion, which we saw from the very first episode. What's happening. So she's like, just sit on this bench, just wait here. In an hour, I'll come see you. So Rick is miraculously sitting and waiting for Amrita. And then it's time for Jim and Sritala to have a photo shoot with Jacqueline with insight of Rick. So this is bad. Rick is just fuming. He loses control and runs up, grabs Jim's gun, and shoots him. And then, who could have predicted, while Sritala is crying over Jim's body, she says, "He was your father. He told me he's your father." And Rick realizes he just killed his dad. Oh.
Jesus Christicles. I can't believe this reveal was not satisfying in the way that I wanted it to be. Like, I feel like it would have been, obviously it would have changed the ending entirely, but I feel like Jim should have been the one to tell Rick, and then maybe tragically Rick gets shot because he's holding a gun at Jim. You know, like, I feel like something else there could have been interesting, but no, we got the very predictable, we saw it coming from a mile away, "He's your father."
Yeah, I think they just needed a way to kill Chelsea, and then it was like too complicated. I think what would have been better, even, we're already getting into the what we wish would have happened, which is going to be a list. But I think it would have been better if he kills Jim, Sritala's like, "He's your father," and then he kills himself.
Ooh,
even that would have been better, you know? Like,
right. I know. And then our girl Chelsea would have been, I mean, devastated, but free of Rick, to be
Right.
frank.
Right. Well, their whole relationship is so. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. We haven't
Yes.
even got to that. We're getting ahead of
We'll
ourselves.
get into that, okay? But first of all, I have to say, when the shoosting begins, Fabian shrieks, so high pitched and funny, and falls backwards into the water. I was cracking up. And then the girls, Trip, who are there taking the photo, they of course are freaking out. Lori just sprints away. She's leaving her friends in the dust behind her. It was so funny.
She's so real for that.
We need some comedy, you know?
Fabian falling into the water was his best contribution of the entire season.
Yeah, it was great. I loved that for him.
It was so freaking funny. Well, let's get to the good part / not good part. So a shootout ensues, obviously, here. Rick's just shot Jim. Sritala's bodyguards start shooting, and Chelsea is shot in the crossfire and dies. Surprise, surprise. Rick picks up Chelsea's body. He's like freaking out. And then Guy Talk runs in with his little gun. And Sritala's screaming, shoot him, kill him, shoot him dead, shoot him. And Guy Talk's like hesitating for a minute and finally like pulls the trigger and shoots and kills Rick.
Oh, man.
This
Chelsea
was
right.
all... Chelsea was like basically ready to die. She knew.
She knew.
She knew this was coming. So these end up being the bodies that are floating in the water.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, this was so sad. I love Chelsea. I didn't want to see her die. I was hoping that if we got a season 4 that she would be seen in it somehow. But now we never will. And honestly, I was rooting for Rick too. Like, I wanted Rick to, I know this isn't the way the White Lotus goes, okay, but I wanted Rick to like have redemption arc, you know, like really embrace his relationship with Chelsea and like turn a new leaf and all of these things. And no, of course not.
Yeah. Chelsea was our favorite character. Of course, that means she was going to die. And there were just so many things that she said that were just like arrows pointing at them, like saying that they're yin and yang, and Rick is pain and she is hope, and like all of these different like symbolic things. But yeah, they were doomed from the beginning. Rick definitely represented pain. He couldn't rest. He couldn't, which also was another point of contention I had with this storyline of Rick, was like, are you telling me he's been like so at odds with this his entire life? Like, I can't imagine a man living with that rage that he had for these like whatever 8 episodes for his entire life, and just now he's gonna do something about it. I don't know. That seems strange to me. But I will say, like, as much as we love Chelsea, she was so frustrating because she was so attached to this idea of helping Rick and like saving Rick to her own detriment. Like, she could have saved herself by respecting herself enough to be like, hey, you don't treat me with love and respect. So I can't do this with you.
Very true. Yeah, she should have learned when she got bit by the snake and all these other things that's probably happened to her throughout their relationship. It's like, it only happened because of him.
Yeah, he really was a piece of shit partner, so.
Ugh, man. But we wanted the best for old Walton Goggins.
I know. I was hoping he was going to find some peace and, like, I don't know,
if
learn
only
something.
Amrita just turned Zion down. He didn't even want to do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point, Rick had been in this state of like revenge for so long, especially if it's been his whole life. Like, you can't just turn that off, you know?
I know.
Like, I think he still would have lived with that and done something stupid. So,
right.
who knows?
Yeah. Well, ugh.
Needless to say, another unsatisfying end to this storyline for us.
Very true. Very true. Well, at the very end of the episode, let's talk about like where our characters embark off on their ways. So, back on the boat, taking families away from the White Lotus, the Ratliffs are on there. They get their phones and laptops back. And Timothy is realizing now's the time I got to say something because they're about to discover what's going on. So he very cryptically just tells his family their lives are about to change. And that's all we get, folks. We don't get to see anything else. That is all.
I'm so frustrated.
I'm so annoyed.
I just want to get to what we wish had happened, but I will just say this was so incredibly frustrating to see after all of that buildup and making it seem like this is such a serious situation that they're all going to have to die. He just says, some things are about to change.
I know. Yeah, well, I guess he's had no reason to really, I don't know, grow and change because he's been so drugged up the whole week.
Yeah,
so maybe he doesn't know what to say.
The one thing we do see is that he's noticing the water droplets like come up and down while they're riding in the boat. And I think that's giving him peace about like, oh yeah, like this life is just one little trip. Like, and if we die, then we're just returning, and it's nothing to be scared of. So I think he's like less scared of what's going to happen at this point. He's like, he has found some sort of acceptance of it, I guess.
Yeah.
The lorazepam.
The lorazepam. Yeah, and he's re-upping that prescription as soon as he gets home.
Victoria is. She's already got some at home.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about Guy Talk. So Guy Talk is promoted to Sritala's bodyguard, and Mook is very excited about this. They seem to be together at the end. They share an embrace, and then Guy Talk gets into his SUV with his fancy sunglasses and drives Sritala off. And I was like, oh, wow, he got promoted. And then I was like, well, wait, the other ones are dead. So I guess it makes sense that somebody needed to do the job.
He was just there and had the gun in his hand.
I guess she was grateful that he killed Rick, but...
Yeah, definitely. Because he kind of earned his place in that. But yeah, it was sad to see Guy Talk forsake his morals and his beliefs and nonviolence and all for other people,
Right, totally. I will say, probably like counter to what he maybe thought he would do in that situation, he was very brave to get his gun and go run towards the gunshots when it all started. I was a little bit surprised that he didn't hesitate. But I think he's not afraid of that, like, putting himself in danger. I think he just doesn't want to cause any harm,
Maybe. I don't know. This guy's so mystifying to me.
Can't get a read on him. Well, let's go to Belinda. So Belinda and Zion are whisked away on their own little boat, and they wave goodbye to the White Lotus staff, including Pornchai, who is looking dejected. Yeah. Much like Belinda did when she waved goodbye to Tanya.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a full circle moment because we know Belinda worked at the White Lotus and now she's a guest being seen off by the other staff.
So true.
I think her story and Guy Talk's are a little bit similar in that they had this like comeuppance at the cost of betraying beliefs or morals that they had.
It's very true. Yeah.
So both of them, Guy Talk had to become violent or be violent. Belinda had to accept this blood money. they both kind of followed a similar path here. It had similar endings of like success.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, happy for Belinda, as we said. Go get a girl. A couple of other things we see just in this montage ending. We see Greg and Chloe continuing on with their lives. They're partying at the house, and all is well. Greg is just as rich as ever.
Yeah, Chloe's trying to pick up another person for Greg to watch them have sex or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also see the Russian trio partying with a new group of girls, maybe more girls from the resort. Who knows? And maybe they will Venmo request them for $10,000.
It's got to work sometimes.
It's got to work sometimes. And then we also see Frank, our favorite little Asian girl, praying in a temple. He's back to his devout ways.
Yeah, Frank's back to his Buddhist grind. Yeah, these were it. Yeah, like you said, this whole group is kind of like, back to business as usual. Like everyone showed up, had this experience, and like we're changed or whatever. And these people are just like, yep, this is us.
We're still here, still doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. I mean, like we said, there's some very satisfying ends to some storylines and some that were not as satisfying. I think a lot of people, reading through Reddit, a lot of people were unsatisfied with this episode and the season, kind of.
Yeah. I seem to see that too a lot. Like people saying they wasted their time watching the season or the finale, whatever. But I think a lot of people similar to us thought that the girls' trip, their Carrie Coon monologue was like the best part of at least the finale.
Yeah, that was some peak TV. And I will say, like, in any show that gets this much hype, it's almost always will start to fall off once you get to like the third season.
Yeah.
It's just there's just only so much magic you can capture, I feel like, in things like this. And who knows, like maybe there'll be a fourth season and it will be spectacular and life-changing. I don't think this season was life-changing. I also don't regret watching it.
Yeah. I feel the same. I do enjoy seeing people's like dream White Lotus cast because it's always a new entire cast of people. It's fun to like speculate or like make a dream blunt rotation of White Lotus cast members. So I don't know. Maybe we can if there is a season 4,
we should post ours.
We can post. Yeah, we could post it to socials. So look out. Maybe we'll post that. I would like to give it some thought, actually.
Yeah, we should. That'd be fun. All right. What you've all been waiting for. What Alicia and I wish would have happened in this finale episode of The White Lotus. Let's get into it. Okay, so starting it off strong, in my opinion, Lachlan should have actually died.
Wouldn't things have changed so much for the Ratliffs if he did?
It was almost like they ran out of time to like have reactions of him dying, like to show the story of him dying, so they didn't do it. But I feel like that would have been so much more meaningful. I don't know. I just with all the buildup of this fiasco happening behind the scenes with Timothy, there was never a conclusion to it. It was just like someone was like, oh yeah, biggest like blue balls ever. when we found out like nothing happened and Lachlan's fine, you know?
Completely. I know. I mean, I know it was like it was written that way for a reason. Maybe it's like, I don't know, like families like this usually never have to confront trauma this crazy, but I mean they still do have allegedly, a big change in their lives after this trip, but we don't get to see that.
Yes, which brings me to my next point. What should have happened? Tim finding out he hasn't been implicated at all. Or actually showing Victoria and the kids' reaction to the news when they hear that they're losing everything. I was telling Alicia, I think it would have even given like a little bit of peace of mind if when they were on the boat and they get their phones back, they're all like looking at each other. And Victoria's just like screaming bloody murder, realizing that she's losing everything. Like, and Timothy like looking at the water droplets. I feel like that even would have given us a little bit more,
right.
I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Finale. Resolution to this buildup we've been having.
Right. I know. I thought we would see it in the season. Like I thought, and then there would be like the fallout of that, you know, maybe in the finale or whatever. But no, we don't get to see any of it. I think they might have shown like them starting to read texts or, you know, see what came up on their phone because they kind of have like puzzled looks when they're looking at their phones. But that's it.
Yeah.
We don't see anything
this
else.
Is the first they're hearing of this news and they're like, wait, what? Like they don't even understand. Like it hasn't even hit them like what we see. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God, we need to see the fallout of this at least a little bit.
I know. And Timothy is like, I don't know if he's just like such a coward, but wouldn't you want to control the narrative of what your family's like, give them some context to what they're seeing? Like, don't you want to be the first one to share?
Right. Or like, yeah, be a leader and be like, hey, this is what's happening. It's going to be okay. We're going to figure it. I guess he does kind of say we're going to figure it out, but he doesn't say anything about what it is.
I know.
So they're just like seeing texts or like email. I don't know. I don't even know. Which brings me to my next point.
This is just a rant, Adrian rant.
I'll stop after this one. When Kate and Victoria have that scene where they recognize each other from the baby shower.
Oh, yeah.
We should have brought this back into play. If Kate got her phone, which it seemed like the girls had their phones the entire time, which is another thing people have brought up. But what if Kate had found out that this whole big like case was going on and the Ratliffs were involved and brought it up? Like there are so many ways that this could have been brought up or that storyline could have been connected. It was kind of like, I don't know. There were just some points in this season that were like, why was that there? I would have rather had that time for like something else that we wanted to happen.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Even if she had just like told her friends, like gossiped about Victoria. Because it seems unlikely that she would say something to Victoria unless she was like trying to extend like an empathetic hand to her. You know?
Or even if like in passing, like to Saxon, one of them was like, oh, sorry about like what's going on with your family.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like something like that that's like so tiny that could have blown it up.
Yeah. Started the snowball.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share one thing. We never saw a monkey wielding a firearm. And I'm quite disappointed by that.
I know when they hadn't shown monkeys for a while, and then there were a few like little clips of monkeys, and I was like, "Here we go, baby!
It's happening!" Like all these things that like were kicked off in episode 1, like the poison fruit. That one did follow through, but like the monkeys and the comments about the monkeys being crazy, like that never turned into anything. But I wish it had.
Not that we've clocked.
No. Unfortunately.
My other big thing is like people died. People died on your vacation. People that you had just met. Saxon's friend Chelsea just died. Like the people that they've been hanging out on the boat and at the party with died. And we see no one's reaction.
Yeah, no.
Like I would have liked to see reactions to the deaths from anyone, any of the characters. No one even mentions it. We just see 2 body bags being wheeled like onto a plane.
Right.
Which also made me think, I wonder how many planes I've flown on that have dead bodies. Did you think that?
I did not. But I did think, why didn't they disguise them at all? They obviously are bodies. Like, this would be
they're
so
like
weird.
taped. They're like taped in body shape too. It's not even like amorphous.
Yeah, right. No, it would have been awesome to see. Oh, not awesome, but it would have been satisfying to see, like, what is Saxon's reaction to Chelsea dying?
Right.
We see a little bit of the girls' trip on the boat. They're like consoling each other because they just saw Jim die, and then ran away from the shoosting. But yeah, we don't see it. Like, Lachlan also met Chelsea, and we don't see Chloe and Greg react to them dying. Like, what?
Yeah, there's no reaction from Chloe. She's just trying to pick up the next guy, which I guess that's kind of her. She doesn't care about anyone.
Yeah, true.
But that was kind of weird. That was kind of weird.
I think so too. My last thing, what I wished had happened, of course, is Guy Talk having a backbone at all and doing anything to stand up for his values and what he believes in. So my thing was like, okay, first of all, I wish he had quit his current job. He tried, but his boss was giving him like a pep talk and convinced him to stay. And then, if not that, I wish he had turned down the bodyguard position for Sritala. That would have been good of him. And then you said, which I think is great, or he turned down Mook. Like, we could have easily seen that in this montage, like maybe Mook watching him and with some expression on her face of, like, you know, loss or whatever. But yeah, it would have just been great for my dude to have some character development besides a promotion.
Yeah, I would have loved to see, you know, he's kind of chasing Mook this whole season, chasing her. And then finally he levels up and like gets this job that he wants and then turns her down. I would have loved that.
I know. He deserved it.
Kind of.
Kind of.
In a dumb luck way.
You're right, exactly.
Okay, my last thing, I swear. I wish there was some bigger purpose for Mook. I feel like there was so much hype around Lisa being cast. And then we had speculated that her character is like evil from the first episode or like doing something shady. I really kind of wish at the end she was involved with the Russians after all. And it would have even been good if like Guy Talk's storyline played out how it did. And he's like, cool, riding off, looking cool, I got the girl. And then she's partying with the Russians at the end. Like, that would have been so good.
That would have been funny, yeah. Man, yeah. I was just disappointed in general with Mook's kind of one-dimensional character. She was just not interesting at all.
Yeah, she was really just there for Guy Talk's storyline and had none of her own. We were talking before this. I don't even know what her job was at the resort. It's unclear what she even did. She danced one time.
She's talking about his job. She needs to figure out what her job is, okay?
You need to level up, girl. Come on. I thought you had more ambition.
Right, totally.
Try to get in Blackpink or something.
Well, you know, the season's over. I think similar to your sentiment, I'm not mad I watched it, but it was not my favorite thing that I've watched by any means.
Yeah, this was kind of like the friends we made along the way sort of thing.
You know what? I'm glad. Okay, I'm grateful for Amy Lou Wood and seeing more of her because I really haven't seen her in much and I just love her. So now I might go back and watch some other stuff she's been in.
Yeah, she's in like Was she in College Girls? Sex Lives with College Girls or something?
Oh, is she? Okay, cool.
I think she might be. Yeah. Amy Lou Wood and Carrie Coon, honestly, super standouts of this cast. I loved them both so much. And like, I had seen like Carrie Coon before and was already a fan, but even bigger fan now. Just incredible, incredible actor.
1,000%. I will plug yet again. I think we talked about this maybe in the very first episode on the White Lotus, but Carrie Coon in the Gilded Age, great show. I mean, it's not like the greatest show, but it is really interesting, and her character is great. And I did not know she was blonde until I saw like her outside of her costume, but she's brunette in the show, and she's very like, she's rich and she's new money. Regal. And she's regal. She's got a great like disposition and voice for it. So highly recommend.
Yeah, she's really good in that. If you ever watched Downton Abbey and liked that, this is sort of the American New York version of Downton Abbey. She's really good in that. Another HBO show. But yeah, I think we had some beautiful moments from those actors. I think Jason Isaacs honestly was robbed with this character who was pammed out the entire time.
I know.
We know he has more range. We've seen him. We've seen his work.
We know Lucius Malfoy, okay?
This, we just saw his wand.
Well, let's not... That is range, you know? We saw the length and girth. Yeah. Oh, Jesus man. Christ. Yep. And Walton Goggins, like, just so good. Like, he was really great in this show, I'll say. Like, his acting is phenomenal. He's in so many things. He was in Westworld, I think, right? Am I mistaken in that?
Maybe.
He was in Fallout.
He's in Righteous Gemstones is where I've seen him. I agree. He's a really great actor. I think there wasn't a lot of range with this particular character just because he was, I don't know, he was just so stuck as a person. But with what he was given, he did a lot, I will say.
He did. Yeah. Well, any final thoughts on the season?
You know, I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you walk away.
Until next time, White Lotus. Well, we are actually really excited to close the book and open a new book.
Just what you wanted.
Open a new book on Black Mirror, which we've talked about a few times.
Yeah.
But Black Mirror comes out when you're listening to this. If you're listening on Wednesday when this came out, tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow. I don't know if they're dropping all the episodes at once or not, but we're excited to talk about it because I just love this show so much. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what our release schedule will be, but we'll keep you posted on our socials. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, specifically, the best place.
Yes, we're very excited about Black Mirror. Thank you all for sticking with us through The White Lotus. I hope you've gotten something out of it, you know? I think
at least got us.
Yeah, you're welcome. And sorry.
You're welcome and sorry.
But I think with Black Mirror, we're going to get more into some of the creepy, funky, mind-bending stuff that we really love and that, you know, spawned this podcast. So
true.
I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope y'all join us for some of those. And again, you don't have to watch any of the past seasons of Black Mirror for this. I think there might be one storyline that's continuing from a previous season, but in general, they're all standalone episodes. That makes them really easy to watch. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to hear us gab about.
So true. Like a mini movie night.
Yeah. With your friends.
With your friends. Age and Leash, the non-incestuous siblings that you love to listen to.
Oh, God. We should probably wrap this up.
You're surely sick of us by now. Well, thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all. Kap kun ka.